Kong is in a really weird position right now, and so is the rest of his team. Fei Yi, we're used to seeing him dominate on those melee assassins. Uncle G, he used to be one of the best support players in the league, but now he's stuck on those weird heroes like Zarya that just won't seem to work in 2018.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. So we're heading to the Dragon Shire. Maybe they can bring out something here that they can turn this around with, because Soa, they could really use a win here as well. The fact is, KT weren't able to win today, so if Soa are able to take a draw here, they will move tied in terms of points versus KT, but they won't have a lead on them because KT have more 2-0s. So no matter what, this would be still KT holding the lead, but it would be nice to just show up with even points. It's good for the morale.
It is. It really, like Soa right now, after so many losses and tough games they've been through over the last few days, they need a moment of success. They need a really good victory, not just a victory, but a clean one, right? They need to have a stomp in their favor to refresh their morale, to know, you know what, we can still do it. It was just a series of unfortunate events, just a setback, but we're still the old Soa. We can still dominate teams, especially teams like Sunny Lion, who on paper, as we said many times now, shouldn't even stand a chance.
As we see the Garrosh getting removed very quickly here. Nothing too far out of the ordinary. So far, this is almost an exact mirror of the last draft.
Hanzo being secured once again for Sunny Lion. And Hanzo has been doing wonders for them. He's been working hard to deliver those arrows when they were needed. We had a couple of awesome Dragon's arrows last game. 4-man, 3-man stuns at the same time for Genji to clean up on. Now, what is Soa going to do? I'm really interested in seeing what Soa is going to draft here, because we thought last game looked like a solid Soa draft, right? With the exception of Zarya. As that last pick, we were like, really? Was that what they needed? And it turned south quite handsomely there. And they take away the Stukov, which is something I like, because guess what Sunny Lion did so well in first game? They chained their CC abilities together, and they punished Klong's mispositioning every single time.
And even more lockdown here from Soa, bringing out the variant. So it's double silences, as the taunt does count as a silence. They've got their tools. They actually need to execute them.
All right. Now, all of a sudden, Soa's trying to turn things around, right? From being the hunted, they're trying to become the hunters in this game with variance taunt, the follow-up route, the follow-up silence here coming from Stukov. That is exactly their battle plan. That is what they want to execute here successfully now. Can they do it? What do you need to do against that? Well, you pick up Mayhem, you pick up knockbacks, you pick up disengage, and Junkrat offers plenty of that. The Riptire knockback, the Concussion Mine knockback, all these tools can be useful to keep Variant, to keep Stukov at bay.
That is an excellent point. They could use a little more. Like, Junkrat's good. Zeratul not so good at that job, but Void Prism could, of course, buy them some time. But I wouldn't mind them like getting an HGC or something like that. Maybe even a Muradin to assist in, like you mentioned, that pre-set out strategy of trying to keep Varian away.
Yeah, exactly. Keep the Variant away. That is going to be the name of the game. Can they do it successfully, though? That remains to be a big question mark. For now, Zeratul, of course, as you said, he's good at keeping heroes at bay. He's also good at initiating teamfights. We all saw the attempts from Chinese teams at this point to basically lay the foundation for the VP, only to follow it up on with a Dragon's Arrow. Now, the success rate of this combo, Tetra, has been wonky, to say the least.
That is a fantastic way of putting it. Wonky, like, I don't have an example of something wonky. The outside of a jigsaw. As we see the ban on the Malfurion being removed straight away. Sunny Lion. Yeah, it is quite hard for them to ban, because what do you ban against Soa? I'd assume some kind of burst damage like the Greymane to stop the follow-up onto the Varian Stukov combo. Asmodan was covered there for a second. I think that was a mistake. Genji is a solid choice.
Have we actually seen a single Asmodan appear in HGC China?
Not this season.
This season? Yeah. I don't think it happened. Such an interesting hero, though.
Yeah, last season, absolutely. Timeflow ran it. It lost.
Oh man, we could spend hours of talking about Timeflow and Timeless and him trying to reinvent the meta in China, and even now with his new team RPGs, things don't really look that well for Timeless, but of course more is being talked about later when RPG is going to face CE in that next best of 2. But yeah, remains to be seen how well he can play today. Anyways, we see Sonya here as the solo laner. Finally, a really solid and stable offlaner for Fei. Like, whenever he played heroes like Maiev or the Malthael, he seemed a little fragile in their current state, right? Yeah. He was oftentimes dying super quickly. With the Sonya, he should actually be able to live a little bit longer.
You gotta give him that kind of sustain and stuff. So, like, Malthael's okay for that. Sonya is great for that. Give him the opportunity to stay alive, and he will keep doing work for you.
Tyke is already being strong, not just in terms of damage and single target shredding, of course, but also Tyke is one of the more resilient ranged assassins, right? Whenever you see a lot of damage, a lot of hard engage, like Zeratul, for example, Genji, Illidan even, depending on which heroes the enemy team want to go for, you go for Tychus. He's very resilient in his Odin form. He has access to Relentless Soldier at level 7, which gives him 25 armor after getting stunned or rooted. So that is really useful, and it's oftentimes harder than you would think at first glance to take down a Tychus. So that is a very stable, a very solid team composition for SoA at this point. Now all they need is another ranged assassin, and they should be good.
Couldn't agree more. The second ranged assassin would be good. They've got a solid front line. They don't even need something like truly bursty. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing something damage over timey with Uther being the only.
I want to see a Gul'dan right here. Yep.
Gul'dan would be pretty decent. What's the map again?
Dragonshire.
I have blanked. Dragonshire.
It's a great map for him.
It is, yeah. I would not mind to see the Gul'dan at all here. Lunara's pretty out the meta unless you're KT, so I don't think she would fit. Yeah, Gul'dan's what I'm leaning towards. I think that would probably be a really solid pick here. Anything else damage over time, don't copy RPG. Nazebo wouldn't be too wise here. Falstad's okay.
Yeah.
Damage over time, consistent auto attacks, I'll take it.
That makes things a little bit weird in terms of laning, doesn't it, though? Because normally Sonya's supposed to be a solo laner, but guess what? Falstad 2 seems to be a very stable solo laner on Dragonshire because he offers a lot of global mobility. He could join the team when it's really needed. He could even consider going for mercenary bribes if he ends up going wingman. So we're going to have a weird laning spot where we have 2 solid solo laners in bottom and top, but that could actually cater towards the strength of SoA's team composition, right? With Varian and Tychus and Stukov always rotating instead of just 4-manning. They're trying to go for ganks top and bottom. That could work out.
Sonya should certainly be in the solo lane, probably top lane, I guess. Falstad could, in theory, rotate with the team. He's actually pretty fast, has a slow. He's actually okay at ganking. So having him in, he's a very quick ganker, barrel roll in, slow with the hammerang. You can get some pretty solid value out of it, but like you said, you can lose value, and we could still see that rotational style as well.
Yeah, and also keep in mind, of course, we do have Sonya in the mix here. That could also lean towards her taking mercenary camps early, and Falstad will then take over the laning aspect of the early game. So anyways, we're going to introduce the teams once more to you guys. Sunny Line, they're currently roaring and leading the series 1-0 with power on that Uther. Jaina is playing Junkrat, Feetby on the Hanzo, Zeratul being played by Wildlight, and First as the single-man front line on the Johanna.
And on the right-hand side, it is SoA. Start over again with Faye on Sonya, Uncle G on the Stukov, TY on Falstad, Klong on Varian, and Sorry is playing the Tychus. Now we're talking about we wanted them to play normal, and they've defaulted exactly back to the start of the season with Uncle G playing the main support.
Yeah, and this is basically the name of the game here in many of those games for SoA, right? They don't really seem to be on the same page in terms of which roles they want to play, which heroes they want to go on. Already trying to make that combo work with the Stukov Silence. Varian staying alive for now as well. Very important to see. We see the Lions more coming in for Varian, by the way, so more slow, stronger slows, and more damage available. The more people get hit by Lions. Bang.
Standard cleave build for Zeratul, not seeing the return of that wonderful Might of the Nerazim build, but you can still go Might of the Nerazim with the cleave build, so we will see on that one as we await for that one to continue. It is going to be TY chilling in the bot lane, so exactly what you called. We're going to see Faye soloing top lane, Falstad soloing bot lane, and then everyone else will likely rotate around and gain value that way, as first tower is easily going to be claimed in the top lane. Actually, it's going to have to wait for a bit.
Yeah, now after getting a tower in the top lane, which I think SoA was able to do, no, he's still standing. It is still standing.
Get it.
Yeah, there we go. Minions OP.
Yeah.
But now, of course, Sonya is going to rotate over to the night camp, right? Now, this is the time for Sonya to turn on the heat, get that laning reinforcements done, and he's even being joined here by Uncle G. Well done, and that should be Night Camp versus Night Camp. Of course, the one taken by Sunny Line was a little faster because they had a faster rotation in the first place.
Long takes a little bit of damage, blocks a lot of damage though with that parry, so good job there, keeping himself nice and safe. Sorry has now been left solo in the top lane because Sonya was taking the mercenary camp. She is now on the way back, Faye and Uncle G arriving. So the solo lane has very quickly become the triple/quadruple lane. As the push comes in with the bruiser camp. Nice concussion mine, puts Uncle G slightly out of position and slows down the mercenary push of Soa.
Alright, mercenaries are waltzing in on both sides, but as you said, the timing and positioning for those red mercenaries for Soa is a little bit better. They use their towers to defend as well, resulting in a quicker takedown of the blue knights here. Look at Faye actually getting on toss here in the backline, helping him to deal even more damage. That was a little bit counterproductive.
The taunt was pretty good. That Varian gank, they would have easily got that kill if Varian hadn't been caught by the steel trap of Junkrat. So good job, Junkrat, setting that up in advance to make sure his team did not get caught out of position. Nicely done. As Soa begins to push in heavily into this top lane with 4 members, meaning that currently bot lane is unattended. Falstad is rotated all the way down. Mid lane is not being so. Hanzo is doing that. Let's hope they don't lose too much in the top lane, but 2 towers already down. Sonya pushed very far forward. She's got care though, and moves in with the whirlwind. Huge damage with the silence and a quick kill on Johanna. First blood goes to Soa.
But going over, but
late, guys, come on.
Overstaying is welcome there, and strong turnaround once again by Sunny Line. The Junkrat concussion mine too strong though, keeping Varian at bay and allowing Feet B to survive. And so close, Timo was already ready to get the channel through, but 0-2 Wildlight, superior map awareness, already moving on to the bottom.
That stay in the top lane was just so weird. That's not something you should be doing at this level. As we see Soa cleaning up the lanes now. They finally moved to a more standard laning setup. Fal's going to have a quick duel with Wildlight here. Wildlight will win this over time, but TY going to actually cap for now because Zeratul does actually have to wait for his cooldowns before he can make another move, and that gives time for Klong to rotate. Johanna's holding mid lane though, so we're not going to see a Dragonite anytime soon, and Jaina can attempt, Jaina by the way, on an assassin again, not a tank. So many role swaps in HC China all the time. Jaina can move in and attempt to take this off of Sorry.
Yeah, this is going to be a very unfavorable fight for the Junkrat though, because Tychus has the means available to dodge the concussion mine, to dodge any grenades as well with his dash. So I think it was a good move here by Jaina to retreat, but all that distraction with the constant Dragon Knight pressure, they went for the bottom Night Camp and are trying to repeat the success story they just could celebrate in the top lane. So Soa absolutely on fire here. They're trying to make those plays happen at any given cost here. Speaking of costing, Long has to use both parry charges to survive and get out of harm's way because that fort was already shooting at him.
As Falstad gonna try and make the play, just takes it out of the condemn. That's the Dragon Knight, but can the rest of Soa survive and get the value? There's the silence to hold the line. Falstad Dragon Knight, they will
gets the kill.
Trade out here.
Fantastic.
That is the best scenario.
Yeah, not only did Faye keep everyone busy in the bottom, which meant the Dragon Knight would actually get free value and free damage done in the middle lane, he also managed to go for that honorable kill in his dying breath. Fantastically done. Junkrat no longer in the game. Long, they're just basically trying to buy time for the Dragon Knight, right? They're trying to keep their opponents fixed and locked in that bottom lane.
They're soaking all 3 lanes. The Dragon Knight was able to get a tower. Only a tower so far, though. And they were able to pick up the kill as Sonya died. I really thought that everyone would go down there before the end of the... I thought at least 2 people would go down on Soa in that retreat. But again, Faye, so good. 2 towers, not great Dragon Knight value. But overall, this could have gone much worse. The fact that Soa were even able to get the Dragon Knight, they're going to hit level 10 far in advance. They're holding the Dragon Knight until that level 10 is available. So very clever moves here.
That should be a fort with Sonya hammering on it, but the rotation by Sunny Line comes in the nick of time. Level 10 here, around the corner though. And with the Odin, which is probably going to be deployed most likely here, they have great sieging, they have great AoE damage poking tools available. So that should be a fallen fort sooner or later. So yeah, while the Dragon Knight itself didn't really get the most of value, as you said, it caused a lot of commotion, it caused a lot of distraction, buying time and opening the field for the remaining members of Soa to wreck the base of Sunny Line in the top lane. So that's exactly what they did. a solid 1-level lead in favor of Soa. This looks more like the Soa we're used to seeing, right? This looks like the Soa that has a lot of potential.
This is Soa at the start of the season, and the fact is they even knew they were able to take this bruiser camp because Falstad spotted 2 members as Jada takes a pretty short grenade, honestly, short concussion mine out of danger there. But Falstad was able to see Zeratul and Hanzo doing his own siege strike camp. He's able to clean that up, but because of that vision, he knew his team were pretty fine to do the siege strike, the bruiser camp, which they took with ease. So now quick cleanup, Soa putting themselves in a big lead here as Hanzo was holding on to his heroic there, does in fact still pick up the Dragon Arrow.
Less shield coming out here for Sunny Lion. First basically had to use that emergency button to keep himself safe and sound here up to this point. Now here goes the taunt. Here goes the follow-up. Not landing in time though. Kwong being a little bit too overzealous here, trying to make those plays without his teammates being in the right position. But nothing backfired here. But yeah, I think Sunny Lion is currently struggling from the fact that Sohana as a solo tank cannot really turn up the pressure, right? She cannot lock someone down as efficiently as a Varian can, or as a Garrosh can. So at level 13 as well, once that one comes in for Soa, I think a Shattering Throw could be the way to go if they really want to punish those greedy solo Johanna plays.
Could be. If not, then the healing reduction, considering Uther has so many cooldowns on his heals, could also be terrifying. We see the focus onto Johanna, but Iron Skin making a very good case for that Shattering Throw right there, as we see the fort go down. 2 falls to 0 in favor of Soa, but Zeratul.
Yeah, Zeratul was soaking in the middle, Junkrat was soaking in the top lane, so Sunny Lion, they tried to salvage this situation to the best of their ability. They knew perfectly well that this bottom fort could not be saved. What did they do instead? Instead of committing to it and maybe losing more team members, they soaked middle and top, almost balancing out the experience score, almost equalizing it.
All is ready. Junkrat has arrived. It's the 5v5. Everyone is here except Falstad, who has flown behind, looking for a play. Might have bitten off more than he can chew there. Junkrat with the steel trap.
Saved.
Nice
Saved.
barrel roll. Easily saved. But there's the Void Prism, grouping everyone up. Here's the Riptire as well for the follow-up. The Dragon Arrow perfectly timed. The heal from Sukov is good. There's the Gust. Disengage multiple of the heroes of TY is in force to repeat already with the barrel roll, so he is in trouble. Divine Shield on Johanna, keeping her alive, and down goes Falstad. But the Odin is dropped. Here comes the attention to counter kill. Looking for Wildlight, but Wildlight moves away. Klong unable to reveal him. And that is a 1-0.
The thing is, I think if Uther had used Divine Shield earlier on someone like Zeratul, he could have actually stayed in the fight much longer and potentially taken down Falstad way sooner as well. As such, it took them a long period of time. They took a lot of damage while trying to do so, and they were able to retreat eventually. But now, the Sunny Lions, they haven't had enough. They're trying to go for yet another member.
And Tychus gets deleted here. Wildlight, nicely done. And of course, the setup from Johanna there. Super nice. Falstad, desperate fly up to the top lane. Can he channel this before Wildlight's able to get it? Easily so. Nice little move by TY there, buying his team some time. And Soa, damage control, they start a bruiser camp.
All right, they're doing the bruiser camp. Both teams now on equal footing. Both teams with their 13 talents online. Variant did go indeed for the Chattering Throw, so Johanna now has to be on her tippy toes. Whenever she gets caught off guard isolatedly, that Variant activatable Chattering Throw can ruin her day on taking care of the Iron Skin, basically. And even later at level 20, if we get to that point, the Indestructible could be destroyed very handsomely.
Diana takes a little bit of damage there. She wasn't actually standing in the Bruiser Camp spell armor area there, so took the maximum amount of damage that she could have taken in that scenario, as we see. Bot lane recaptured and prevents the Dragon Knight double altar channel.
Hanzo scouting the perimeter, immediately finding Fei here, who's recklessly spearing into that mercenary camp, but Klung was already going to the flank. There goes the Shattering Bow. The taunt is real and the Divine Shield has been used.
Divine Shield's very nice. TY has arrived, but the Stukov healing is once again good. They're fighting underneath the Bruise Cap here, taking damage. Riptire is good. Fei gets focused down and will fall here to the Hanzo. Down he goes.
Wow. That went quite wrong for Soa here. They had a good lockdown on the Sonya. Sorry, on the Johanna. They almost got her, but the silence are not strong enough. Sorry is actually getting caught off guard.
And this is just insane. They go for engages, but in the meantime, someone else is dying. Wildlight being the perfect distraction. Finally, they get power here as Klong gets focused down once again. But that's still a 2-for-1 in favor of Soa, and the health bar of Klong is still not that great.
Yeah, they're still looking pretty hurt here. Klong needs to be super careful in how he places. The Lionheart keeps him alive for now. They actually get another kill because Zeratul was already leaving the battlefield to go for the Dragon Knight.
Klong gets deleted by Feed B though. Now they're looking for Feed B, but TY getting dropped down. Hanzo with the chase, unable to pick up the final kill, but it is still held neutral.
Sonya intercepted Wildlight here on the Zeratul. A beautiful poison spear to the face. Not really allowing him to go down to the bottom lane and help his teammates in need. Look at the top lane, by the way. The mercenary camp had been pushing throughout all this crazy action that was going on. Actually, not really doing all that much. Not really getting to the towers, but at least forcing the attention of Sunny Lion. But that was a constant back and forth. None of the teams really willing to let go. That is a classic example of China meta.
Soa are winning everything that isn't the fights. They are just... their fights have been really kind of meh so far. The only ways they've been able to win is via picks, when Sunny Lion's rotations have worked against them, and via map control and the objective. They have been dominant on the objective so far, really abusing that false start global.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. But Soa, at least they're able to get some kills under their belt, but in terms of soaking and how they were able to keep that experience flow, it didn't really work out for them, right? It was always Junkrat or Zeratul doing more soaking. Here comes a mercenary camp battle.
Here comes the Odin, this time used pretty early, so might actually be on time here. There's the Void Prism. Sorry, tempted to run into it, but that's good. He doesn't, because otherwise he would have been hit by that Riptire. Instead, it's TY and Uncle G, but the healing is good. Faye move through already, killing off Johanna. They're looking for Wildlight here, who has already used his Blink. The Odin taking the shots, but the Divine Shield saves Zeratul here. Wildlight stays alive. That ends up being a 1-for-0, burning basically every heroic as Falstad prepares for the Dragon Knight.
Yep, nice flight all the way to the bottom, using the barrel roll over the wall to buy additional seconds. It looks like there is nothing Sunny Lion can do to stop this from happening. Without their main tank, without Johanna, they are just in no position to take up a fight. They also had to lick their wounds priorly because they were brought down low so much here. Now, Klong, look at the variant on the top lane. He's already trying to get himself into position. Are they going to get this? Don't kick now, Dragon Knight. Don't kick now. There we go. Well done.
Nice kill on Hanzo. Well timed. Now they're going to be able to get the last board of the game and push a tier 2. Bot lane, of course, is the lane of choice. As 3 different mercenaries can push into this lane at one time. So it's the perfect lane to open up in terms of keeps.
All right, and they chose the right lane for this. The bottom lane allows them to move freely. It is the most spacious lane available on Dragon Knight. It is also the easiest one to end with because of Siege Giants that could be taken later. So yeah, up to this point, flawless play here by Soa. Look at that Dragon Knight still sitting at 40% of health. That is an easy keep. Are they willing to commit to the core, though?
They have Gus. The line from Johanna's good. Punts away Uther here. Hanzo's about to come back, though, so it would be so risky to try.
Oh,
so
no.
They're going to try and get Barrier, though. Good concussion mine. Saving the day to Jada. Here comes the Riptire. Falsta's low. He guts the tire. And also Junkrat in the process. Interrupting any chance of the explosion. First is tumbling down. Divine Shield to keep him alive. Wildlight from behind with Hanzo down. They could now try for the core, but Zeratul, big damage output. Could be the dissuasion they needed. The Odin's already active, though. The commitment has been made by Faye. Zeratul once again wrapping around and first is ready to try and engage.
The Odin damage was real, just like Sonya's. Sonya's one of the strongest core attackers in the game. Here goes the VP. Sonya must continue the assault. They must continue to attack.
TY is down. Johanna with the huge crowd control, but no interruption. They spent too much time healing in the fountain. That is it. That is GG. And Soa takes game number 2. And that evens it up to a 1-1 score, making it a tie between the two teams.
What a game, what a comeback here by Soa. A constant back and forth. The early mid-game actually looked very dominant by them. Then Sunny Lion came back pretty handsomely with a couple of good skirmishes in the bottom lane. But ultimately, the power of Sonya could not be bested. And this is the Faye that we're used to seeing, right? This is the Faye that made a name for himself in the region for being so hard to kill, for being so lethal, for being so hard to run away from. And you know what? When there's a Wrath of the Berserker Sonya at the core, there's just... you have to burn her down. She is going to wreck that core single-handedly otherwise.
You can't spend that much time in the fountain. They burnt their time. The VP was good, and that fight could have been won by them, but they spent too much time healing. Too many delays, slight misplay by Sunny Lion. However, With that win, Sunny Lion have moved themselves tied with RPG. If RPG go down 0-2 to CE today, then Sunny Lion and RPG will be playing a tiebreaker to decide which one of them will start in 8th position and which one will start in 7th. Actually, I don't think that matters. I don't think they need to play that tiebreaker because they're going to start facing each other. So it really doesn't matter. I guess they don't need to.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter if you start up as 7th place or whatever.
If you're 7th or 8th, you're still playing first. It doesn't matter at all. So I guess if RPG goes 0-2, then their tiebreaker doesn't need to be played there.
Exactly. Because it doesn't matter. Like during the playoffs, no matter who wins the game between 8 and 7 is going to advance anyways. So whether you start as 7 or 8 literally has no impact on the overall course of the playoffs because it's going to be the first game anyways, right? Sounds a little weird, but if you think about it more closely, it makes a lot of sense.
Good to know. Maybe they'll do it for honor's sake, but either way, that is still good news for Sunny Lion. They still are going into the season with 1 more point than they had before, with a full 7 points at the end. So it's something. There are signs of life, which they're going to need to put themselves into that safety zone if they have to. They would still have to defeat Sunny Lion, RPG, and then Soa. Soa still will be behind KT despite the fact they're on even points due to KT having a better map score, with Soa going 2 wins, 6 draws, and 6 losses, and KT ending with 3 wins, 4 draws, and 6 losses.
All right. A little bit of hope here left for Soa after looking so miserable in these last couple of series where they just weren't able to overcome their opponents. But for now, they managed to put an end to this streak of negativity, and they took a map, not just in, in general, but also in pretty much dominant fashion. That was a good game, although it looked super close in numbers here. As you can see, 8-8 in terms of kills. Final levels were 18-17. So when it really mattered, they had control over those battles, right?
Exactly. They put themselves in a wonderful position and were able to control the fights when it needed. Like we said, they were losing pretty much everything except for the map control. They were losing every single fight and still winning the game. Finally able to actually make it work, especially thanks to Falstad. I think Falstad deserves MVP there.
Yeah, could be Falstad, really. Those gusts were a pleasure to behold, for sure. It could also be Faye, though, to be honest, because he was tanking through those team fights like an absolute madman, or a madwoman, excuse me. But yeah, it's always nice to see Sonya's do well, because with so many other heroes now trying to steal her limelight, like the Genji, for example, like Malthael, who's seen much more play, Thrall coming back in there as well, as a solo laner potentially. It's still nice to see that Sonya is still sitting at the tippity top of the table when it comes to having a sturdy, dangerous, and reliable solo laner that can also participate and do well in team fights.
Very much agree. So we still have a little bit of analysis to go for, and after the analysis is done, you guys should stick around during the break after a very quick run to grab a drink, use the loo, as the HOTS Academy will come up. It's in Chinese, it's very funny. Out of context, even it could be even funnier than with the English subtitles that we do get released every now and again. Me and Kendrick absolutely adore the show, and we should always support the content creation teams for a game we love. So even if it's not your kind of thing, no reason to put it down.
There's hardly a thing such as bad content, right? Unless it's obviously designed to make people feel hurt and stuff like that. But there's no
bad content, but it's inflammatory content, and we don't like that.
Exactly. And if you think about it, although we don't really understand all the words they say, in fact, we understand very, very little, just try to use the context and just use the plays as well they show. And I was actually taking a look at the translated versions as well as Tetris said. And at the end of each HOTS Academy episode, they actually go through all the things you just saw previously, and they have some